my point is, going back to the whole designer clothing, it's a poor man's mentality or a working class mentality to want to pay more to show that you have more when actually you have less.
Yeah, no, I hear that, but I think but that's consumerism in general though, because, for example, it's weird though, because if Nike are making Air Force and someone over here is making the same Air Force, but it's weird because it's not from Nike. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, for example, if you sell patties with a certain recipe and it's from your shop and it's like the Lynn shop, so everyone knows, yo, worldwide patties, but then this shop now has your recipe and they start making patties, is that still Lynn's patties?
Is it recording?
Yeah.
No, I'm blessed.
No. Oh, yeah, let's cut that out.
You saying you're gonna cop yourself a Birkin bag on a TikTok shop?
The Chinese man over there moving brazy, bro. Them man said, listen, them man have been bumping you. We just ain't been saying nothing, but the muzzle's off now. What you saying? Because apparently the Birkins are made there, but then obviously they go to like Paris and they do one more bit to it. Like, they don't, you know what I'm saying?
But that's been happening though. Man can't act like they just thought that was the case now. A lot of the stuff that we buy from these luxury brands, we know is getting made over there, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's just that if you say...
No, but sometimes the selling point is it's made in Italy, so that the way around it is for them to get most of it done in China and then bring it back to Italy and just add a gold bit to it, and then next minute it's made in Italy. Because even when it says, I think it's like when it says made something leather or something, it's supposed to be a particular part of Italy it's made in for it to be named leather. So I can't remember. Anyway, man.
I watched House of Gucci and I saw some of the techers that was going in back then. So obviously I can't speak on what Gucci's dealing with the ins and outs right now, but based off what I saw in that movie, he ain't been Gucci for a minute, man. This is a new Gucci.
This is new Gucci.
It's a new Gucci, man. This ain't the original Gucci. So I think people should focus on the quality as opposed to the name.
Yeah, but I don't think it's anything to do with the quality, Tazer. We've been getting bumped when it comes to luxury goods. You're paying for
the name.
Yeah. So I
No.
don't know what everyone's moving shocked.
No, but to a degree though, there's a difference between like paying for a name, but the quality is there. You know, like for example, there's a certain striker you can copy. You know that listen, this guy's gonna deliver. Or there's a striker that's telling you, it's promising you worldies. There's a difference, man.
No, I hear that, but at the end of the day,
if I go into Zara, for example, I cop a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I wear the t-shirt to a dance. I go home. I wash the t-shirt. If next week I look at the t-shirt and it's shrunken a little bit, I'm like, all right, cool, it's from Zara.
Mm.
If I go into Selfridges and I spend €4 or €5 on a t-shirt, that t-shirt can't shrink, bro. That t-shirt has to be molded to whatever my body looks like for the next 6 months. That's not always the case. I hear that. But for me spending that much money, that's what I expect. If you're now telling me, boy, current climate, it doesn't matter if you spend $4. You can get yourself a Casablanca t-shirt. You watch that, it's shrinking anyway. I'll be like, all right, cool. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it is. Don't fool. Look how we felt when we went to Balmain in the Dubai Mall.
Man couldn't believe the prices. These sounds not even Balmain.
The might as well have been outlet. Do you know what I'm saying? So when we saw the prices, we were like, okay, I hear it. I don't want these anymore. Sorry, boss. I thought these was real. But you was giving me an offer. Nah, cool. I'm just saying on that front, if I'm going to LV, I'd like to think I'm buying an LV bag. Not that I'm buying a Coach bag.
Coach is even decent.
I know, but you know the difference in the price. If I Google Coach bag now, just random. Let me just
but the problem is they're probably made the same way. It's just that you're just buying Coach and you're buying Gucci. The reason I find it hilarious is that people are not mad at the fact they're getting bumped. Like, They're not mad at that.
It's not. You're not getting bumped. That's what I'm saying.
No, but you are no, because I'm saying with what China are doing, all China are telling you is that death row in it. Come to our side, like don't worry, like they've been bumping. I'm saying, like the hoo-ha is like if people, for me, put it this way, if people are just like, raw, this how much, like, wait, it costs £3 to make a bag and they're charging me 5 bags.
But that's not the same bag. Is what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
It can't be the same bag.
Same bag, bro.
Bro, it can't be because the actual leather you're paying for is not £3. You can get the equivalent if you want the cheap leather, is what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying, I get what you're saying, but you're looking at it in singular. Like, you know, for example, if you were to order 40 t-shirts or hoodies,
Yeah.
how much you'll pay for 100, or how much you'll pay for 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000, the price differs, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm saying these factories are on a global scale of like the importation of leather. So how much they're getting the leather for is a lot cheaper than, because you're looking at individually, because they're individualistically, but you're looking at individually like this bag by itself is like, no, but these brother, they've bought about, I don't know, 800 meters of leather.
Yeah, no, I know.
And they're just cutting it out of that level.
No,
do you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm still saying that there's a certain quality. It's like buying what's the I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Yeah, okay, cool. For example, toilet paper.
Yeah.
There's certain toilet paper, the quality is terrible. And there's certain toilet paper, you're like, okay, cool. Even though this is expensive, I can feel it. I can feel the difference. This is triple ply or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but once you get to the top,
you can't say all leather's the same because it's not.
no, I'm saying, but once you get to the top, there's not much difference between the leathers.
I don't know that, so I can't speak to that.
So, like, for example, like, because remember, we're looking at toilet roll. For example, if you get quilted toilet roll, scented toilet roll, whatever, it gets to a point where you can, that cheap one, the moment it touches your bum, the thing's disintegrating, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas that quilted one is cupping the cheeks. The scented one is cupping the cheeks. Once you get to a level, they all cup your cheeks. I'm saying with the leather goods, once you get to a level of like, as you said, Coach or like LV, Gucci,
Okay, like
Hugo Boss, like I guarantee you that like a lot of their leather is the same leather they're using. Is just let me even ask ChatGPT, bro.
you see that, for example, Gore-Tex, yeah.
That like wind resistant,
It's a waterproof
thing,
technology.
yeah.
So if you're paying extra for a jacket that's got Gore-Tex technology,
Yeah.
that's what you're paying for.
No, but remember at Gore-Tex technology, for example, you might have what's that brand beginning with BERGHO?
What?
Berghaus or something like
Yeah,
that.
okay, cool.
You know what I'm talking about, innit?
Yeah.
You will have those jackets where you can go to like Decathlon or whatever.
Yeah.
You get that jacket for like 30 quid.
Yeah, but it won't be the same
No,
quality.
but it's still Gore-Tex.
No,
But
it won't be.
man going camping and not taking Nike Tex to camping,
That's why they're freezing.
that's my point. I'm saying, no, what?
That's what I'm saying. For example, if you're gonna go camping,
Yeah. That man wears brands that you ain't even really heard
yeah,
of.
but what I'm saying is the technology that they're using will
Yeah.
still come at a certain price point.
Yeah, I get that, but what I'm trying to say to you is a lot of the time with price points, you pay for the brand. So I'm saying once you get to a certain level of Gore-Tex, like if we got 4 companies, yeah? For example, you make a Gore-Tex jacket, I make a Gore-Tex jacket, he does, yeah? Unfortunately, we can't all do the same price point because we're not all the same visually in terms of what the consumer believes where our value is. So I've got to sell this Gore-Tex for as much as I can within the allowance of my brand.
Okay, cool. Gore-Tex is the trade name for waterproof, breathable fabric membrane. It was invented in 1969. Gore-Tex blocks liquid water while allowing water vapor to pass through and is designed to be a lightweight, waterproof fabric for all weather use. So I'm saying it's a particular...
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you is there's certain brands that will have that, but they can't command the same P as a Nike or a Adidas. Do you know what I'm saying? Or even a New Balance or even a North Face. Think about North Face. But you can get a puffer jacket from North Face or Moncler. Bro, it's mad.
No, but the puffer jacket might not have Gore-Tex, is what I'm saying.
No, I'm just talking about the fact that it's the brand. The moment you look at, like, for example,
but
Stone Island, a Stone Island jacket is about a bag minimum. 7 bills, a bag minimum. But there's other jackets, as I said, go to Decathlon, jackets are doing the same job.
It's not though.
But I'm telling you, bro.
A Canada Goose,
Canada Goose,
high quality materials. The Parker's made with goose down sourced from Canadian farmers and come with a removable coyote fur lined hood. That's what I'm saying. Like there'll be something this is what you're paying for.
Yeah, that's what they're telling you, man.
But
Man say coyote fur, you know.
No, but I'm saying that's what
Bumper clap.
but that's why you're giving them extra money because of the particular
The selling point of, I know what
the
you're
USP,
Mm-mm.
like Uggs.
Yeah.
Like, what was it again? There's Uggs by Australia and then there's Uggs. There's two different versions.
Yeah, okay. And then there's a fake.
We've been
Uggs.
getting bumped. No, I don't know if you say fake, but it's the brand in it. We've been getting bumped to the Uggs that they're selling over here. You know, it's not the correct. Maybe because of the particular animal that they're using with their fur. Also, Canada Goose give you lifetime warranty. So if something happens to your jacket, you can go back to the brand and say, hey, this is what you're paying for. You know what I'm saying? It's like suitcases. They can tell you it's a particular plastic. Even me with the photography, there's tripods. Oh, you can get this aluminium tripod, you can get this one, or this one's carbon fiber. Carbon fiber, minimum $4 for a tripod upwards. Because apparently it's lightweight, you can throw it anywhere, and also because it's carbon fiber, they can make it small.
Yeah.
Because of how much less material they're using. Same with cars. If you get a car that's carbon fibered, you can put your foot down and you're flying, bro. There's a reason, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're paying for. I think it's a bump when they do things like, you've reduced the quality of the leather by the mass, but then you're still charging this like Air Forces.
Yeah, but every company's done that. When it comes to leather, it comes to Big Macs. Think about Big Mac. I don't know if you remember when you were young, you didn't really eat Big Macs, but back in the day, your mum and dad just say to you, "How you finished that?" Like they will ask you because the Big Mac was a big burger, bro. Now, bro, I guarantee you, me at 6 could have finished a Big Mac, bro. Back in the day, it was unheard. If Mia finished a Big Mac at 6 years old, you would have taken it to the doctor and said, "Bro, there's a problem." Because
isn't the Big Mac got like 4 patties or something?
No, I'm saying, but as in like they keep shrinking stuff, but then the money keeps going up.
Inflation.
Do you know what I'm saying? So Eve drinks, same thing, bro. Everything keeps changing. Have you noticed that whenever you any portion of anything that you buy over the years, you're like, hold on, even KFC wings. Beer batter.
What's a beer batter? Inflation is an increase of the average price of goods and service in terms of money. This is usually measured in the consumer's price index. You right, love?
Hi. Oh, am I supposed to sit on this?
No, you can sit wherever.
Get comfortable.
Let's see.
Is that a brand new bottle of water? Can I have it?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
I thought it's a bit dry.
Where? That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. So that double check is proper on the camera and that. Oh, righty.
What's that, protein shake?
Nah, do you know it's like a what they call it? Frozen fruit, and then I just put that oats in there and creatine in that.
Oh, where's the camera? I need to
I'm on fitness.
that. Oh, okay, cool.
I'm on the fitness journey.
How are you?
Can I give you this, please?
Yeah.
I want to know what your thoughts are on this whole.
So I need to.
What's that? Straight in, yeah.
Might as well.
What's our thoughts on what?
On all of these Asian guys on TikTok saying that the Birkins are flying for cheap.
The China, China and USA and all that.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying, right, you're not gonna introduce tariffs that are out of this world. All right, cool. We're gonna expose Birkin bags are going for cheap over here.
So what's your question?
Order direct.
Do
Lynn's already bought a bag. Look at the bag she came in with today.
So is it?
I'm saying when you
Is it justifiable to now buy fakes, or are those ones that they're making actual? Is there a possibility that they could be in the supply chain of being real?
Yeah, okay, cool. That's a nice way of wording it. Yeah,
Right, okay, you came with. That's a great question.
Because I'm saying that I think a lot of them are fakes.
It's got to be fakes because
no. When you say, but what I'm saying, when you say, okay, there's a difference between this is the Nike factory, but I can give you the cheap trainers on the low, or no, we know what they're making over there. We can make it over here. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which one are you saying?
I think it's very, very hard to tell because I think if you look at like the material, the zips, so on and so forth, I think there is a lot of elements where even if it's the type of leather or the zips or what have you, a lot of it does come from China. And then once it gets to like Italy or France, they do what's necessary. I think Hermes and Louis are probably the most to not engage, but I don't think you can actually say 100% that they have no involvement in China. Like China is the manufacturer of the world, hands down, for nearly everything. Yes, you've got your Taiwan, you've got your Turkey now trying to jump on, so on and so forth. But generally speaking, I don't think with the amount of interest that people now have in luxury goods, France, Italy, they don't have the manpower and the human resources to be able to keep up with demand. And that's not just demand in craftsmanship, that's also with materials. We can't produce it.
So he's fighting an uphill battle then.
But it's complicated. So I'll give you an example. I used to be a manager at Agent Provocateur, yeah? If you don't know what that is, it's like luxury lingerie, very expensive in Selfridges, Harrods, all the rest of it, right? And I had to do so much training understanding the type of lace. They would be like, it's not your usual lace. This lace is only produced on a machine called the Levers lace, which is in the south of France, which originated in Nottingham. But then now you can find several Levers machines in China. Yeah. So if they start to produce that lace, then send that, because they can do it quicker, and send that lace to France.
It's not made in France.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But the lace, the craftsmanship of putting the bra and the boning together is made in France, but the lace itself is made in China, and they still make it on the original Levers machine because you can't make this lace on any other machine. Yeah. So do you understand how intricate it is? You can't really separate it. But at the same time, there are manufacturers that do fantastic replicas where I don't think they have any involvement in sending it to the original.
Yeah, they just got the
brands,
the mold of the original. Yeah, because I heard even with Nike, there's certain factories that Nike use, they have the molds of the trainers. But then if Nike stop using that factory, they still have the molds.
But let me ask you a question, yeah? If you buy Nike isn't like a one-off piece or whatever, if you buy Jordans or whatever, knowing it's mass-produced no matter what country, and then you break down two trainers, one from China and one from America or wherever we think it's made from, and it's exactly the same in terms of the stitching, the types of quality leather materials, but one is £20 and one is £110, what is actually the difference?
There isn't.
Is it because we've been conditioned to be like, that's fake? Like if it's doing, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So what it is, we've all been conditioned to want to pay more. And the same also, I think black people get twanged the most by this, or working class white people, because it's like the same with, that a middle class individual can get that table in a club for probably £350, but you're there at the door and the man's telling you a bag and you're still paying the bag for the table, knowing that, I don't know, Sebastian from wherever, Mayfair, can get it for £350. But because you want to show, a lot of young black boys want to show, it's nothing, let me slap a bag down. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, you're an idiot because you want to show that you can pay more.
The thing is, with that, what I will say is, in regards to paying more for tables, a lot of the time it's because it's a premium. There's an event on, so you can upsell. That was the understanding. Like you can go to West End on a Thursday and the table price is not the same as going to the same club on a Saturday. It's understood. It's understood.
And especially if the queue outside
it's not always the case, because I've spoken to promoters and they've said to me bold-facedly, we know that these guys, especially like your drug dealers, or I'm not saying all, obviously black boys are drug, but a certain caliber of guy who wants to show off, we know they're going to pay it. So we raise the price for them. Whereas a certain group of other boys who are probably far more wealthy than those will say, we're not paying for this. We'd rather go to the pub. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying if there's an event, but my point is going back to the whole designer clothing, it's a poor man's mentality or a working class mentality to want to pay more to show that you have more when actually you have less.
Yeah, no, I hear that, but I think but that's consumerism in general though, because for example, it's weird though because if Nike are making Air Force and someone over here is making the same Air Force, but it's weird because it's not from Nike. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, for example, if you sell patties with a certain recipe and it's from your shop and it's like the Lynn shop, so everyone knows, worldwide patties, but then this shop now has your recipe and they start making patties, is that still Lynn's patties?
That would have made sense when Lynn made them with her own hands. So when the original designer or a very small group of people from the very beginning made that with their own hands, and then someone tries to, it's different. But now, Lynn's patties is 100 years deep. So it's never going to have that authenticity if I made them with my hands. So what's the difference of me teaching somebody who's taught somebody who's taught somebody has taught somebody, then that same person, another person in China or wherever is now making Lynn's patties. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but I think...
Because it's not this, all we're now doing, we're not buying into the craftsmanship of the original person who founded that brand.
Yeah.
We're buying into the name.
The idea.
And the idea, exactly.
That's what I was saying about Gucci.
But for me, it's the permission as well. For example, so if you leaving it on Lynn's patties, if you've given permission for someone to make these, then they can make it over there. If you haven't, and it's kind of like they've stolen your recipe, can someone go, I'm going Lynn's patties?
What's that got to do with me?
No, I
don't care if they've stolen the idea.
No, we're talking about whether it's real or not. Remember the argument
what
whether
makes it real though?
That's what I'm saying. But it's if Nike haven't really given you the permission to make this, because basically when I was looking at the factories, as I said before, they have molds. So if Nike say to this factory, we don't want to use you no more, they will still make.
Hold on, whose phone's not on silent? Is it me?
Must be. Ain't me. It's not me.
It's not me. I'll tell you when it's not real, yeah? When it's not real is when Lynn has a secret recipe, like a secret ingredient that I've not shared with anybody, so it can never be replicated. It's the same with Nike. If Nike or Michael Jordan said there's a type of, with the leather, there's a type of special cow that you can only get from behind the mountains in Peru, the cow from Shropshire, that's fake to me because it's different. You fed the cow differently, the environment's differently, the leather's going to come out differently. Even though the person in China has said, but cow no, it's a special type of cow. That's when, to me, it becomes fake. But if Lynn's patties, everyone knows the exact ingredient, then there's no such thing as fake there.
What about the, what's the word term I'm looking for? When you check for imperfections and stuff like that. What's that term again? Quality control. So basically, with that factory I was talking about, the difference is whenever Nike got certain training from that factory, if it had an imperfection, they'd send it back. They didn't like, no, we don't want these. Whereas once these factories don't have Nike in the picture, those trainers with the imperfections, whatever, they're all getting they all flood the market. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, you could get a pair of Air Force. No, that's what I'm saying. But like, because even on Instagram the other day, people are selling fake trainers, like they're doing videos for fake trainers. So this guy was like, I've got a Travis Scott and another Travis Scott. And he was like, so I'm thinking he's looking at it like, rah, these fakes are getting crazy.
So your thing is, if it doesn't go through the same quality control, that makes it fake.
Then it can't be, then it's fake. Because when he done it on that video, he was like, anyway, at the end of the video, he's like, here's my card if you want to get fakes. Because he was basically saying they're so similar, but you could see slight differences in the laces, in the boxes. There was all these little differences. So although they look very similar, there's differences.
That's the psychology though as well. Because if, let's say that like it's 0.2 millimeter out, in stitching, but functionality is the same, usability is the same. And unless you're going to get some mad magnifying glass and I'm going to be like, can I just look at your crepes a second? Like, what actually is the difference? Is it the knowing that it didn't go through the same quality control? And then just because someone tells you
Yeah.
You weren't there to see that the quality control was any different. And who's to say it is really and truly?
No,
Because
That's what. Sorry, go on.
because sometimes China's workmanship can actually be better. I don't mean for like the one-off craftsmanship of France. That's why I say Louis and Hermes is slightly different.
Yeah. you
But
mean
they
generally.
now are actually, because I know this is not the most politically correct thing to say, but how Chinese people are raised, especially those in it, they're raised like robots. So their eye for detail probably is going to have less human error than a standard person in England or America.
Fair. But that's why I introduced specifics in regards to like Adidas with their Boost technology. And then sometimes these brands that use the Gore-Tex, there's a tech that they introduce. So the price gets pushed up because of we're using this particular material or we're using this particular tech. But if you're just comparing two Air Forces from similar factories in the same area, but one is approved by Nike and one isn't, then I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two trainers.
Let me ask you guys a question. Back in the day, it wasn't about all this designer stuff. It was about if your air bubbles were real.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, man, everybody used to squeak.
Yeah. So could you feel an actual like difference of like if what would make, I know this sounds like a stupid question, but what actually makes an air bubble a real one? Is it that
It's
there's
the-
the air?
Yeah. It's
So the
technology.
fake ones, there's no air, it's just solid
It's-
plastic.
yeah, when you stand on it, you can tell that it's hard. Whereas if it was the actual
It's
air
like
bubble,
the-
it's soft. Yeah.
So that to me is a more justifiable thing
But
of
that's the
real and
tech.
fake. But no, yeah, is that
Yeah,
the feeling,
yeah.
like the usability, the functionality.
That's the whole reason
Yeah,
why
but
Nike's saying pay £110 for these trainers.
Yeah, but that Air Force.
The
thing-
technology in China is the same now.
Yeah, but that,
Yeah, okay.
but that Air Force, you can wear it, and next minute, like it's changing shape. You know, like sometimes you can see people trainers. You look at it thinking, them Air Max, they look a bit
But the
That shape's a
designers
bit
have gone
mad.
down anyway. I think the quality
of everything's gone down. to
has
be fair.
gone down because they've had to mass produce.
to me,
Or they've created, have you realised that Dior and Gucci, they've created like lower end brands for the people that want to say that they're wearing those brands.
What do you mean by lower end brand?
Not lower end, but
Or cheaper items that are cheaper within that brand, so they can afford it.
exactly. So they're the ones that are going to be more. So people that are wearing those are thinking, yeah, I've got the specialist. The people that really understand, like the Dior wearers of back in the day or whatever, just like you're actually wearing the Primark version of Dior or of, do you know what I mean?
That's
Or
why.
like, do you know, like the biggest thing to me is the t-shirts that have Givenchy on it. Like you're literally wearing that just because
You've got
I
Givenchy.
feel that's a poor man's version of Givenchy.
It's like the Casablanca t-shirt.
Do you know what I mean?
Me personally, the shirts were the ones that
The
were like,
only ones that I feel like have like a hoodie is justified is the Dior ones. They actually feel heavy. Like they feel
GSM.
different. Exactly.
Mm.
There's the stitching, everything's different.
But I feel like fashion is a weird thing, man. Like, see, there's no right or wrong answer with fashion because it's how it makes you feel.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But you need
it's
to
not
ask
solely
yourself,
that,
why does
though.
it make you feel like that? Some things you have to ask yourself, why does it make you feel like that? You have to
Mm.
challenge yourself and be like, why do I feel that I can't step out in a Zara tee, a basic leather belt, and
Maybe you can, but because
some
remember,
people can't.
we're doing it like in terms of extremes. Yeah, there's certain people, but there's certain people that they do rock Zara, but they do wear Balenciaga hoodie. Like,
But if
what I'm
it's
saying?
an
It's plain.
occasional, I think if it's an occasional thing,
Mm.
like I have a few pieces, but I feel when it gets to the point where it leads you on, that's a replacement for your personality, your riz. That's when you need to question yourself and say, well, why do I need to wear this
think-
level or this
I
amount?
think we're having two different convos. One is the quality.
Mhm.
That's why we're paying extra. If we talk about fragrances, for example, I can't wear Zara because they put bullshit in there. Whereas I would rather wear Parfum because of
That's a
How-
parfum. man.
the
trust
Parfum.
me, it's more authentic. You see what I'm saying? And it doesn't give me a rash. So I'm paying for quality. It's the same with food. There's a difference between buying beef from Lidl and then
But there's a lot of people that don't bite into the quality of it. And
no,
I've
that's
heard-
what I said. We're having two different convos. Sometimes it's not the quality. Sometimes it's just if you lot know that this is designer, maybe you lot will treat me better. There's that. Some
Can I
people
tell
do
you
that.
why the quality thing doesn't make sense to me a lot of the time as well? Because people are a slave to the seasons. So people are now saying, I can't, that's last season. Or they'll feel a way that like they're not really it no more. You used to buy quality so it could last. But you'll find guys saying, I can't wear those no more. People aren't really rocking those no more. Or you can tell it's last season. So if that's the case, it's now certain designers have become fast fashion. So why do you care about the quality? Because the quality is supposed to withstand the test of time.
Yeah, but that's probably what these designers are doing. That's what I'm saying.
No, but designers have always done that. In terms of any form of clothing is always autumn, winter, spring. Like,
but there's certain pieces.
They're trying to get everything out. Obviously, they've got the core, solid, like
staple pieces.
But then you've got the bits around it. But I just feel like, for me, I've never looked at a piece of clothing and been like, this is last season, brother, I'll wear this thing for 4 or 5 years.
You know the Dior trainers that every guy had?
Yeah.
B, what are they?
I had them. I had a couple. B
okay,
tissues.
be honest, do you feel cute in them still?
You sold them. You got rid of them.
Okay, and that's the best thing to do. But the point is, you probably wouldn't feel cute in those anymore.
Of course not. That's why I don't wear them.
Exactly. But how much are they? 900?
No, I got sucked in.
No, but I think what Lynn's trying to... Yeah, I get that.
No, but what's the
we're all talking about quality.
What Lynn's trying to say is, if you liked it, so I'm not saying it's not a dig.
I did like it.
If you liked it so much, but then it's like, people... Like, why did you stop wearing it? Was it because...
It was a trend. It was an expensive trend. I can admit that. It was an expensive trend. It was.
So we need to stop capping and saying it's about the quality, because it's not really not you.
No.
I'm saying a lot of people.
Two things came out at the same time, though.
That's what I'm saying.
It was quality and a trend.
Yeah, two things. The reason why I'm saying...
It was nothing to do with the
They were
quality.
nice,
it has to be quality, because
Is there a huge difference between the quality of those and Nike trainers in terms of lasting a year, which is what the trend lasted for? It lasted for about a year, yeah?
No.
2 max. You got 2 years out of those.
Nice. I'm not looking at how long it lasted during the trend. I'm talking about if I've spent £300 on a jacket, for example.
Yeah.
I want it to last. Whether I want to wear it in 3 years is a different conversation.
So why does it need to last if you're not going to wear it?
Because I bought it. I want it to last. But whether I want to wear it...
But last for what?
Because I bought it. I spent a lot of money on it. So I want it to last. But what I'm saying, whether I want to wear it in 3 years' time is different because of the trend.
I think what you're saying, Taze, is you want it to be good quality. Not that you want it to last, because it lasting is a prerequisite.
No, but quality.
So you want it to be good quality.
No, because if I go to Primark and buy a white tee, I don't expect that to last. That's 2 wears and I'll dash it. Maybe even 1 wear.
No,
I know that.
No, but we have to look at and justify the price point when we talk about lasting. So if a pair of trainers is nearly £1,000, in terms of logically, yeah, unless you're a super millionaire and £1,000 is like £100 to you, which I'm sure is not to a lot of people, why does it matter about the whole lasting thing? Because how can I justify £1,000 for a 2-year trend on trainers?
Because you're saying 2 years like I know what 2 years is going to be. When I say lasting, I'm talking about them that are changing the Air Forces every 2 weeks.
No, but what Lynn's trying to say is justifying
they're not thinking that far. I understand.
As what you're saying, that's a problem.
But I'm saying I understand that's a logical conversation to have. But a lot of them are not doing that.
So you've just landed my point.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're not doing that.
The majority of young men that wear a lot of these designers, we can dress it up with lasting quality. It's all bullshit. It's not, because if I think of something to be quality and to last, I expect it's going to be something that withstands a test of time. I expect to pull it out in 6 years, because that's what people that used to buy designers, that's what they used to do. Yeah. A classic Gucci loafer, you can still wear that and it will look actually better with a little bit of...
Even Chanel bags and all that. Women
There's certain things
from the 80s have got the same bags.
And that's why I said, okay, you were smart. I did the same. I sold mine. I wore them once. I sold them. I actually didn't like them. But my point is, it's smart to sell them. But the reality is we're buying things because we want to be on trend, but we're a slave to this idea of spending excessive amounts of money on something that we look at or it's in the back of our wardrobe like yuck. Unless you sell it in that time frame where it's still a thing, it's done.
You're not even going to get your money back anyway.
Done.
But you know what's crazy? I think that there's a bigger conversation that needs to be had in terms of, yes, there's a feeling that this gives you, but there's a perception of how people look at you when you have that. So that's what I'm saying. So I think the biggest thing more times is forget the logic and whatever. People just want to walk into a room and you know already what it is.
So what do you look at when you see two men have walked into a room
with a lot of drip on?
They're both attractive men, looks-wise.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about their looks. That you find them both attractive. Mm-hmm. But one of them is just wearing, brands are just loud. Mm-hmm. And then one of them is just subtle, but maybe he has a nice watch. for you would say the guy with a nice watch is the one
Yeah.
that you say, okay, cool, he's got bread. Whereas the
I'm,
other one is...
I'm scared of the other one. I know you're doing illegal stuff or your credit is in the bin.
What, because of how he's...
I'm scared of that one.
Because of how he's portraying his money. Showing off his money.
Yeah, it's to
Showcasing
me.
his wealth, sorry.
Yeah, to me, you've got a spending issue. Like you've either got a spending issue. I understand, like, in terms of like salaries and things of that nature. I know people that are on 300k a year and they still wouldn't dress Louis head to toe. Maybe it's a class thing as well, but like I'll hear people in that tax bracket, they're like, how do these people afford it? And even myself, having earned a decent amount now where I'm at, I'm like, I still probably wouldn't. I think it's reckless. Yeah, okay, I probably could, but to me, it's reckless. And more time, the guy with head to toe, if he's under 40, very rarely has he got good investments, good assets, like not a lot of baby moms.
So what does
Like,
it say? What does it say to you? Is what I'm saying.
It says to me that it could say a load of things. And I'm not going to tarnish everyone with this brush, but I would automatically think that you're an excessive spender. You probably don't have assets or a couple of properties. You probably do illegal things because men that often do illegal things, they don't have any concept of like money. So they're going to be in Selfridges at least once a month. And that's not anyone I'd want to be around. There's nothing wrong with an occasional like man bag, a nice watch, a timepiece, even some nice like trainers. But I'd rather, let's say, for example, I want to build with someone or be in a relationship. I don't want to be having beef with you because I've looked at our statement and it's Selfridges every month. That's unattractive.
Yeah.
Like,
it's excessive spending.
When you think about it as well, yeah, the level of spending, you don't go shopping and spend $2,000. It's more like $4,000, $3,000, or they're searching high and low for resellers or can you get 30% off? It's cringy. Like if you're doing it effortlessly, like if you're buying this stuff effortlessly, then okay, possibly. But generally speaking, those types of guys are not guys I would want to be around.
I hear it.
I bet if it's Congolese.
What?
I don't generally like loud guys.
No, but Congolese, that man is
But
just
they're
loud
loud,
anyway.
aren't
So this guy could have bare properties, whatever. He's just loud by nature. You know, certain man are just loud, bro.
Yeah, but
This is-
I